Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or if you're watching this at night, good night. But here we are, another video where I'm gonna talk about, finally, everything that's been done to the car since I got it, how it's set up right now, and also how it looks. So let's get into that real quick. Whoop. Okay, so this is my 3-valve. It is a 2007 Ford Mustang GT. And as you may or may not know, it comes with the 4.6 liter 3-valve engine, which a lot of people dog on because it's not a Coyote in an S197. But I don't care because I've beaten a lot of Coyotes. I've also lost to a lot of Coyotes in this car, but we'll get to that later. So first, let's start exterior wise. So as it's sitting right now, it's sitting on a set of SVE drag pack wheels, which is a 17 by 4.5 up front and a 15 by 10 in the rear with a 275/60 Mickey Thompson ET Street SS. And the front is actually just a 215 all season that I got from my old job for super cheap. Slapped those on because I didn't want to pay $500 for some front skinnies, even though I probably should. Continuing around the exterior of the vehicle, I have a California Special front bumper. Oh, don't look at my chocolates. A California Special front bumper, even though this is not a California Special. It's a GT Deluxe, but I have a California Special front bumper that, yeah, I had to drift stitch that together, but no biggie. I also have a set of LED halo headlights and fog lights. Can't really tell all that well right now because we're in the daytime, but at night it looks super sick. I'll show you a picture of that in just a second. I also have aftermarket LED bulbs in both the fog lights and headlights. And coming around the back of the car, don't mind my super beat up rear bumper. That happened because I was driving through the snow and a cop had to give me a little bit of a push and the paint on my bumper cracked, but it is what it is. I'm not really tripping about it. Anyway, I do have a set of Vector V2 taillights that I got from American Muscle. I absolutely love these. I love the sequential look. I used to have a set of the original Vectors, which would occasionally not work. They look really cool, but I think these look a little better. So I'll show you a picture of what they used to look like versus how these look like. Now it's up to you to decide if you like these or the other ones more. I think I like these a little bit more. I also have a couple battle scars. As you can see around the car, it's not in perfect shape. It's kind of been through a lot. It's sitting at 152,000 miles currently, and I've been taking it to the track since before I had 100,000. And here's a sticker of Oregon Raceway Park. And now getting inside of the car. Oh, and if you guys want to know where I got this remote, I actually bought it on Amazon. I cut the key myself and then I programmed it because I used to work at the Ford dealership. If you want to know where I got this from, I'll leave a link in the description, or I'll make a short video about a couple things you could do to make your car a little bit more modern with these 05 to 09 S197s. So back to the interior. And I'm sitting on a set of Sparco Sprint seats that I got. Also have a 2013 to 14 GT500 steering wheel. It's just my stock airbag, but everything bolted up just fine. I had to do a little custom wiring just to get the cruise control to work. These over here don't work. I can make them work with some wiring and an adapter for my Alpine, but I don't really care too much about it. But yeah, I have a set of Sparcos in here with a Brom harness bar, and I did take out the back seats for weight savings. Not like it's gonna do much. They only weigh maybe like 15 pounds. I guess I do have some bolis back there. And actually, one last thing. Here are my nitrous switches. Oh my god, it is dirty in here. Here are my nitrous switches. This is my purge. This is my bottle heater. And this activates the actual system itself. My window switch is located down here. So let me turn these back off. And this is my MGW short throw shifter. Love this thing. This thing is absolutely awesome. And now, to the best part, let's move under the hood. And here she is. here's what I've been working with. 4.6 liter 3-valve motor. And now to run down the list of mods I have to this car under the hood. And I'm gonna work my way from under the hood all the way to the rear of the car, if that makes any sense. So, off the top of my head, let's go. Okay, so we have a JLT Series 3 cold air intake, a Ford Performance 62mm throttle body, a Ford Racing intake manifold, a set of blow-by racing stage 1 camshafts. Obviously you can't see them because they're under the valve covers unless you have freaking x-ray vision. A set of Steeda underdrive pulleys, as well as a JLT catch can, which I modified a little bit to fit my intake manifold better. And you can't tell right now, but I do have I guess you can't tell, I have the nitrous outlet plate system for my 3-valve, and the plate's not on right now because I took it off to be NA, and because I actually lost about 10 wheel torque on the dyno with the plate on versus not. So for those of you that have a throttle body spacer, get rid of that. They don't work. So that's also why you see a hose here and a hose over here. They're not connected to anything right now, they're just chilling right now. But yeah, here you can see my solenoids. I have my fuel solenoid right here. I wired everything under the intake manifold. You can see if I were to unloom everything under the intake manifold to make it look as OEM as possible. And then on this side, this huge thick line is what goes all the way from the bottle in the trunk to my nitrous solenoid and then my purge solenoid. And then this line coming from the nitrous solenoid also goes into the plate if it were right here. And then here's my little purge. Got the line over here and it comes out. That is hot. It comes out of that, and when I so, and then in a little bit I'll get a clip of this with the plate on. And then going with the exhaust, it's really tricky to see, but I have a set of pipes, long tube headers, made it to a Cook's off-road H pipe, and that goes into a Roush catback, which if you come over here, you can see, don't mind, the tips are a little dirty, into my Roush catback. Okay, and then leaving the engine, we also have an Exity Light and Flywheel, an Exity Mach 500 clutch, and I also have a McLeod braided clutch line, and then inside you saw my MGW shifter. So, total side note, side tangent for a moment. If you want to shift faster, don't just get a short throw shifter. Don't just upgrade your clutch and flywheel. Get a braided clutch line. That braided clutch line did the biggest difference, and that's when I noticed my shifting was, boom, way better. So after that clutch and flywheel, I have stock trans still, completely bone stock, just regular maintenance on it. And that goes into a Ford Performance aluminum one-piece drive shaft. Absolutely love that thing. And then in the diff, obviously I can't show you, but I have a set of 410 gears and the stock axles. And I also have an Eaton True Track differential, which shout out to my sponsor at Corwin Ford Tri-Cities. They took care of that for me. And then that takes care of the under the hood as well as the drivetrain and the interior. And then finally, the most important part, second most important part, is my suspension. So that's a bit of a long list because, as some of you may or may not know, I slammed this car into a tree when it was snowing because I was driving on summer tires with no tread because I am foolish. So it's a bit tricky to see, but I have a BMR adjustable rear pan hard bar, BMR rear lower control arms right there. It's focusing on my finger right there. And then I have a set of Pony adjustable yellow shocks. And then also in the rear, I have a set of sway bar relocation brackets. That way I could put the 15 by 10 inch wheel on. And moving to the front, same thing, Conies. I still have the stock sway bars, but my inner and outer tie rods are all completely brand new. Everything in the suspension I rebuilt last year or replaced. And up front and in the rear, I also have a set of Power Stop Z23 rotors and pads. They're pretty a-okay. They actually stop really well, especially when I'm autocrossing. I really don't experience brake fade with them. Even when I went to Oregon Raceway Park and I was smashing on the brakes, I really didn't experience any brake fade. And I was driving the piss out of this car. And then one other thing that you can't really see unless I put the car in the air is I have a set of GT500 front lower control arms as well as GT500 strut mounts that I have on my front struts. As for the springs on this car, I have a set of iBox Sportline springs on the car. I initially bought it with the whole Pro damper setup and everything, so it came with springs and shocks. So it was actually sitting on iBox Pro damper shocks before I put the Conies on, but that was before I smashed into a tree. That pretty much takes care of all the mods I've done on this car, minus all the maintenance. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all the maintenance and I'm not gonna tell you every bushing that's been replaced on this car. I'm not gonna go through that whole list, because I did replace the inner and outer tie rods. I replaced sway bar bushings. I replaced all of that stuff, but that's not really as, I feel like that should just be a given since it's all maintenance. But so what does a full bolt-on cammed nitrous 3 valve make on the dyno? It depends on the dyno, and it also depends if I'm spraying a whole 100 shot or not. So let me get to that real quick and I'll explain to you why. So see you in a little bit.